Hello and welcome inside Amalie Arena. We cannot wait for Game 6 tonight. The puck is dropping in an hour and a half inside this building. The Bolts taking on the Panthers. The Sunshine Showdown continues. And really, Game 5 was honestly the only stinker of the series. We have had such an electric, frenetic pace to these contests outside of Game 2, which was still a one-goal game throughout. But watching back Game 5, you always kind of felt like the Lightning never had a grip on that game. The first period, maybe a little bit. They fired 20 shots on the rookie goaltender, Spencer Knight. But after that, in the next two periods combined, they only totaled 16. And they just didn't have it. And a big reason why was the power play. In the last two matchups, the Panthers have had 12 power plays. And we can go back to Monday night at the BB&T Center. They were able to kill off 3 of those in the first period. Now, that's great and all, but what happens is when you're killing off all those power plays, you have the same penalty killing unit on the ice for an extended period of time. They're getting way more minutes, as opposed to some other guys who aren't part of those units. They're kind of on ice on the bench, and you never really get into a rhythm, so you're in self-preservation mode, and that was happening up until 6 minutes into the second period. The Panthers finally break through, and then they chip away, score 4 unanswered, beating the Bolts 4-1. And it's funny how playoff hockey and any other sport works sometimes, where you enter Game 5 up 3-1. Everyone's feeling pretty confident that the Lightning are going to win this thing. Then you see what happens in Game 5, and all of a sudden it's like, uh-oh, are the Lightning going to lose this series? What's happening? Like, the Panthers seem like they're in the driver's seat. Well, we are here at Amalie Arena tonight, and when you come to Amalie Arena for a playoff game, you better provide your best punch, because this Lightning team, historically speaking, usually wins in these type of scenarios. So the best stat that I can give you for tonight is when teams come to Amalie trying to save their season, the Lightning are 10-4 in those situations. So 10 out of 14 times, they are sending teams home, and they're advancing to the next series of action. And that doesn't even involve last year's playoffs, where the team beat the Islanders in 6 games after losing Game 5, and then they beat the Dallas Stars in 6 games after losing Game 5, and they won the Stanley Cup. So there's no reason to panic, especially when you consider that everybody, for the most part, I'll say predominantly everybody on that team last year is back this year. And if the Lightning can just get a few more power plays on their end, maybe even a couple more, honestly, and just taper off the power plays of putting themselves into the box, they have a really darn good shot of winning this contest. I want to send you around Amalie Arena a little bit. I love this part of covering sports. When you're inside the arena, nobody's in here, and you know in just an hour and a half, this place is about to be rocking, the ice getting cleaned up a little bit, and on these seats, you'll see, I don't want to rip it off, but you got your noisemakers, and then aligned, which I'm sure all Lightning fans know, are these little bracelets that will light up and they'll create the light show. It's why we all love going to Bolts games, because the production here is just unlike any other in the National Hockey League. I mentioned Spencer Knight, the goaltender for the Florida Panthers, and he has been remarkable in his rookie season in the NHL. I know he's only started 5 games. He's 5-0 in those games, and in doing so, Monday night in his postseason debut, he stops 36 saves consecutively to beat the defending Stanley Cup champs. The key to getting to Spencer Knight, according to John Cooper, according to these players, is getting more active in front of the net. They were not getting in his face enough, cluttering up the crease, and they just need to create more opportunities by putting pressure, and that's really an energy thing. The number one thing that John Cooper said after Game 5 was the Panthers played with desperation. In Game 5, the Panthers elevated their play as the game went on, and the Lightning did not match that desperation. They did not match that energy level, and the Bolts know that. Victor Hedman, Steven Stamkos, Braden Point, Mikhail Sergachev, John Cooper, all of them that we have heard from after that game have admitted, look, we did not play our best game. We did not provide the best effort that we need to do. We did not play Lightning hockey. And in a sample size of 5 games, 1 out of 5, that's not so bad. The Panthers have actually played really, really well this entire series. They just don't have experience on their side. The Florida Panthers have not won a Game 6 in franchise history since 1996. That was the same year that they went to the Stanley Cup. It was the only year that they got into the Stanley Cup. It's also the last time that they made it out of the first round. So again, you are dealing with a young group. You're dealing with a young group, an inexperienced group, coming into a hostile environment like Amalie Arena, where the crowd is going to be fully in favor of the Lightning. And the Lightning scored 11 goals in Game 3 and Game 4. Scoring was not an issue in this building. Of course, we know that overtime loss in Game 3. It could have been a sweep if they were able to sneak that one out. But look, what are you going to do? The most important part is making sure that the team slows things down first and foremost. They got to get in control. They got to play 5-on-5 hockey, and they got to find themselves in opportunistic situations, which means getting on the power play, because before Game 5, they were 7 of 15 on the power play. I'm just going to throw Game 5 out because, again, they didn't play well. We can focus on Game 5 where they didn't play well, or we can take the other 4 games where they were a pretty successful bunch. So I'm going to choose to take the first 4 games. Again, a reminder, puck drops at 8 o'clock. And I would really love for one of these times the team to be playing at 6 o'clock or 6:30. Not happening. Islanders and Penguins getting that prime time situation, but whatever. We have no problem staying up late here in Tampa Bay. The Panthers and Bolts entering Game 6 tonight. We're very excited to see it go down. I'm going to turn to our Facebook page right now, and if you have any questions about the series, feel free to hit us up. You can do it on our Facebook page. You can hit me up on Twitter, at eKlosky, we love hearing from you. Right now, seeing a lot of Go Bolts, Go Lightning. We love the emoji there. Happy to see some Lightning. We got another Go Bolts. Love to see it. Love to see it. And I'm turning it off now because I'm getting double in my ear. Again, John Cooper had some tremendous bites this morning. First, I had to ask him if the experience playing last year in Game 5 into Game 6, I should say, the experience of playing the Islanders and winning that series in 6 after leading 3-1, and the experience of playing the Stars and leading that series 3-1 and winning in 6 games, does that help you? And John Cooper says he thinks so. Sometimes I ask these questions, by the way, and it's the media kind of angling towards a narrative, but Cooper agreed. He said, absolutely, having that experience, it's the same messaging. We're able to tell this team, look, this is what we need to do. This is how we're going to do it. And we can hearken back to an experience together and say it worked this time around, so we can do it again. That's the important thing when bringing back the same bunch the next year. You've all been through this. You've all had the similar experience. So that's the most important thing. John Cooper issuing a challenge saying, look, if you want to be special, you got to fight hard for it. Nobody said that becoming a defending Stanley Cup champion would be easy. All right? He issued the challenge saying, I think the quote went a little bit like, do you want to win one or do you want to be special? Do you want to be like the Penguins in 2016, 2017 when they did a back-to-back? The Red Wings of the early 90s, the Penguins back in the 90s, and then we can get into the 80s where everybody repeated. You had Edmonton, you had the Islanders, Montreal was mixed in there. So it's actually been like a long time since we've had those dynasties in the NHL. It's been a really fun string of new teams winning each and every year. And here in Tampa Bay, a lot of people don't want to see that. They want the dynasty. They want to see it happen. You got guys like Kucherov, Stammer, Killer, Vasilevsky and net. Hedman. Just so many superstars on this roster. A lot of guys who will have their banners once in the rafters once it's all said and done with their careers. You feel like this is your window. This is our window in Tampa Bay, period, between the Bucks bringing everybody back, the Rays just coming off an 11-game winning streak, losing last night, but, they made it to the pennant last year. This is all part of the culture that Tampa Bay is building, and it's remarkable to see. I'm going to allow Bert behind the camera to take one more sweep around the arena. the calm before the storm. Just drink it in as we're going to have a little bit of action coming in as we are about 10 minutes away from fans trickling into the arena for good. The Stampede will start around 7 o'clock or so, usually an hour before the puck drops. We're seeing some fans over there. So I guess they're bringing them in a little bit earlier than expected, but nonetheless, we're out here. 9,000 plus fans, a little bit less than what we saw in Sunrise. I was there for Game 5. We said 15,000 fans with 75% capacity was going to be allowed in the building. I don't think that happened, but the Lightning, the first time around, they upped it from 7,000 to 9,000. They kept it at 9,000 for this series. I would imagine if the Lightning can make it out of this series, they would actually up that number too with the way that we're seeing things happen around the league. And not that I want to get into the whole Game 7 ordeal, because obviously being on home ice has been a winning proposition for them. 10 of 14 sending teams home in a series clinching situation here at home. But if they do go to Game 7, I did a statistic before the playoffs started, wondering if home ice advantage mattered when the Lightning were playing the Panthers the last 2 regular season games, fighting to be the 2 seed over the 3 seed, which we obviously know the Panthers won back-to-back games to earn that right. 20-25, the home team in Game 7 scenarios. So even if they lose tonight, there is still a statistic for you saying that the Lightning are in a decent position, and the Lightning are 1-1 at home, at least in Game 7 scenarios. So I couldn't really find a large enough sample size for them in that situation. But you know what? We're going to get all settled in here. We got about an hour from puck drop. Remember, on night side, 10 Tampa Bay, 11 o'clock, you can tune in. I will be coming to you live immediately after this game. If it's overtime, I got you still too. Might not be at the top of the show, but we're gonna make it happen. The Hurricanes and the Predators, by the way, the team who's gonna play the Lightning or the Panthers in the next series. They have made it to 3 straight overtimes. We've only seen 1 overtime in this series. It was Game 3, and the Panthers won that one. So we could have another OT finish tonight. These 2 teams are so competitive. They're so close in talent. They're providing such great hockey. I certainly expect it. These 6-5, 5-4 games have been fantastic, but it should be within a 1-goal score. Remember, check us out on Facebook. We'll have plenty of information. You know where to find us because you're watching us right now. And then on Twitter, you can check our our 10 Tampa Bay account. You can also look at eCloskey WTSP, ECLOSKY WTSP, and I will be providing updates throughout the game as I'm here in this building where it's very cold, by the way. We've been in here for 2 hours, almost a game's worth, but nonetheless, we're excited to bring you Game 6 coverage and what we hear from the team after a win or a loss, and we could be heading to Sunrise on Friday for Game 7. Again, keep dropping us questions within this Facebook Live. If you're watching us late, I will get around to it and answer you if you have any questions leading up to this contest. But I hope everyone has a great night, and let's see if the Bolts can pull this thing off.